Warning! Just like the Carlisle to Preston race, this video contains coarse language, unusual humour, annoying audio issues on my end, and me being a plank when it comes to driving the 9F. Viewer discretion is strongly recommended. Today's video was the result of another idea I had for a train simulator race. It turned out to be the first time I was racing on a route with the person who built the route in the first place. Seeing as I don't know what else to say now, I suppose I'd better let our past selves do the talking. Good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day you're happening to watch this.
Evening.
And welcome back to... well, it's morning for me. Anyway, this is... can you tell I'm not all that good with recording voiceovers live to camera?
He doesn't do voiceover live to camera as well as I do, I'm afraid, ladies and gents. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. Go on. Give him a chance.
Right, well, regardless, we are in Train Simulator again today, and I've got an engine that's blowing off very loudly over there, so I'll try to keep the camera away from him for the time being. The engine that you're looking at, of course, I just realised is a bit misleading because we are not taking Clyde, the Class 37. Instead, we're taking one of Murdoch's brothers or sisters.
Oh god, we're going with the Thomas the Tank Engine thing. No!
Specifically, well, so this is the British Railways Standard Class 9F 210, and the specific variant I'm using is the one that's got the headlight that used to be on that great feckin' big 010 tender engine known as Big Bertha.
Or Big Emma, if you're a Midland Railway engineer.
Well, I've always known the engine as Big Bertha, so that's what I'll keep continue calling it.
Yeah, that's what you're going to keep calling her, yeah. Well, she was either Big Bertha to most people, but she was also known as Big Emma, or that big thing, as we've now decided to call her.
You probably use that term or that nickname for just about every, like any American engine.
Oh, what, that big thing?
The main one that comes to mind is the ridiculous 412-2s that the Union Pacific had.
Oh, I love the Union Pacific for the 412-2s. They're awesome.
In any case, as for the route we're on today, what we're doing today is a race on the Dark Railway from Colhapper all the way up to Merecombe. It's only about 14.5 miles, so it should be a lot more manageable than something like Carlisle to Preston.
Oh yeah, this will definitely be a much shorter race than last time.
Yeah, because obviously we're not going anywhere near as far as like however long the Carlisle to Preston route is.
Something like 89 miles or something like that, isn't it?
And of course, the route
this is a lot more manageable.
Yeah. Well, you say that, but it's got some fairly steep grades on the way.
True, that's true.
So this version of the Dark Railway that I'm on is DR 1960s because it's the only version of the route that I've got. And for context, and I think I might have said this in previous videos, the only way I got this route is because it was available to download from UK Train Sim, I think in 2016, around that sort of time.
Probably would have been a bit earlier than that because I think I took it down in 2014 or 15.
No, it was much.
But
are
you sure it was that late?
No, I remember seeing it for download. I swear it was around 2015 or 16. But
I think it's probably more 2015 then. Either way, it was on UK Train Sim before I took it down, and then UK Train Sim ended up being obliterated by a thing called capitalism.
Yes, that was the whole thing. People on my end can see that I have got a pannier tank here that has stolen Rick's number. So make of that what you will.
I think he'd been downsized.
Damn it! I sometimes forget what I'm going to say, and this is one of those occasions. So sometimes you may end up getting awkward silence, unless you go to the 9F, in which case you've got the noise of the safety valves blowing off.
Or I'll just sort of use my editing magic and just cut a lot of this bit out. I'll just be like, chit, 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 chit. I might leave that bit in just because it's funny.
So what we'll do is so here's Colhapper down the southern end of the route, and we're going up to, I think this other station here off this other branch. What's that? That's Raxus Heath. For some reason I thought that was Hitch and Abyss, but regardless.
Hitch and Abyss is the other way.
Ah, so going south.
Yeah.
Right. So further along there's Axley, which is the junction for a branch line to Soma. Fairly short, but it's got quite steep grade. And the Caledonian Railway 956 class does not like the Soma branch at all.
I don't think many people like the Soma branch, to be honest. It's a bit smelly as well, because Fear and Otter don't clean up after themselves for some reason. Anyway.
And then, obviously, further up the line, or the main line, there's Walls Church.
I can't believe you'd miss out the most important station on that section of line. You missed Lake. How dare you? Lake is the most important and base station on the entire railway. How dare you, sir?
Well, my apologies for being a pillock.
Anyway, so you got Wolf Church, yeah.
And then further along, we're stopping at Upway. The idea being to make it a bit more of a challenge so that we've come to a complete stop. But then soon after we start off again, we've got a steep 1 in 57 to charge up. Then up the top of the climb, there's Manston 4. The junction for the, well, in this version of the route at least, there's the Merecombe goods branch. This is not on later, like more recent versions of the DR, isn't it?
No, because it was destroyed in 1967 or 8, I think it was. 1968 it might have been. It was closed down in 1968, but there may be plans to reinstate part of it in the future. Who knows? I know. And then you finally get to Merecombe.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think there's much else to say at the moment, so I think my 9F's all good to go.
Okay.
Incidentally, I haven't really properly driven the Victory Works 9F at all really. The only time I've properly driven it was earlier today when I did the test run. So I wanted to make sure this trip was actually doable.
Yeah, make sure it all works. Well, I've unpaused my game now, so I'm ready to go, and I'm hoping we do go, because I have AI traffic moving around, so I want to be able to watch it as we go along.
Right, I think I'm pretty much ready to go, so Bag's not doing the countdown.
Okay, fine. 5, 9, 6, 43, 109, 2, 1, go! Come on, Barry.
Recently, with some of the CW reviews I've done, I went like looking through the manual to get a particular driving, to see how I was supposed to drive these things.
Yeah.
And I've been trying that same sort of technique on like engines from other developers, but it didn't work as well as I thought it would in this 9F.
No, it's weird, isn't it?
I am in simple mode because a lot of the time I'm not all that good with the advanced engines.
There's only one engine that I've actually gotten used to driving advanced mode on properly, and that's the Z class. Absolutely love flying around with that thing.
I thought you were going to say the Super D.
No, I still use quite a few different helpful things with the Super D. Like for example, I often put the injectors on to do themselves and the auto fireman to do itself, but I usually run them backwards control because I just get used to it after a while when I'm running the Super D. Just after T14.
You get the fireman to do himself?
Yeah, he does himself. Right up the trumpet, I might add.
If you said trumpet to a New Zealander, they'd probably thinking, wait, why the hell would a steam engine man want anything to do with an ice cream?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a New Zealand ice there.
Yeah. Well, he's not wrong.
Gosh, the climb is horrible. I forgot how bad the climb out of Colhapper actually is. I flattened this out on later versions of the route.
Yeah, well, it's a 1 in 70 on my version.
I think it's the same here. Yeah, it's still a 1 in 70 for me as well. Well, it is because I'm running on DR 1950, which basically has exactly the same main track layout, including all the different gradients and whatnot being the same as 1960, but the scenery's been overhauled, the track's been slightly changed in some places to make it a bit better. and there's just been a few other quality of life improvements. It's a version of the route I would love to give out, but
I was going to say that seeing as I've never properly seen any versions of, or any pictures of 1950s, I can only imagine what it would look like in relation to this crusty old thing that I'm driving on.
right, there is a stream.
When I say crusty old thing, I don't mean the Victory Works 9F.
No, because the Victory Works 9F is very good. If you ever want to, obviously you'll probably watch this race before you watch this one I'm going to tell you, but there's a live stream / video I made a while ago called The Monster of East Kent, and it's one where I drive DR1202, the original one, not the good one, the bad one, up the DR 1950s route. So that one would give you an indication of what DR 1950s actually looks like. But I'm running this version of the race from the cab, so you'll see basically a driver's eye view of the route. So
whereas I'm currently in external view, and also about I think just over a mile from Gallon Junction.
I can't see how far I am.
I'm not going to bother with the speed limits. I'm just going to go 420 Blazer right through the station as fast as I can go.
That's what I'm doing.
Because who needs speed limits when you've got a race to win?
Exactly. Speed limits are for chumps. Unless, of course, it's like a really, really sharp corner, in which case you've got to go yikes.
Oh, well, presumably yikes in the same way Michael Angelis did when he was voicing Skarloey and Rusty and the Boulder.
What? Yikes!
Yep, that's it. I remember thinking that was probably one of my favourite episodes when I was younger. And then more recently I learned about just how unrealistic it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, you watch later episodes of Tommy the Tank and Friends, and you've just got to think, oh crikey, look at how inauthentic it is.
On the Blubber era, that diabolical 2D reboot, which as far as I'm concerned, has no right to exist.
I don't like any of it either.
It's probably going to piss off some people, but that's just me being honest.
It's also just our opinion.
Now taking the crossover at Gallon Junction at 65 miles an hour.
You're a wee bit ahead of me then. I'm only doing 60 at the moment.
And viewers on my end can see Mara the T14 in a slightly unusual livery, since it's not Mortsel green for a change. And she's got a bunch of random tankers with her. Like, well, you can see them on my end, but I think these are like from an old UKTS freeware pack. So it's got like, what is it? Skittles, Mars, M&M's, Lidl, whatever that is. Elsewhere in the yard, we've got a random diesel locomotive, for some reason. And of course, Ed and Sid. Ed famously being in his, well, not necessarily famously, but he's in his alternative livery. So make of this what you will.
I try not to think too much about Sid in Crimson Lake. It makes me feel a little bit nauseous, to be honest.
Proceeds to put Sid in Crimson Lake as a background cameo into every single one of my TS videos.
Oh my god. I will look out for that now every time you do another TS review video.
I think the next one I'll be doing probably won't have any cameos from any standard gauge engines, because it's hopefully the Glasgow subway.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get much luck putting some standard gauge locos in there.
Well, it wouldn't work because they wouldn't be able to fit through the tunnels.
True.
Right, I think I'm just over 3/4 of a mile from Axley Station. No, just under 3/4 of a mile from Axley.
I think I'm about a mile away.
How the hell am I winning this time?
I don't know.
Considering that my boiler pressure is now down to about 171 psi, and I realised I stupidly didn't realise until recently just how much steam you end up using up if you're injecting on the move. Although at least these engines, I think they can
rebuild pressure quite quickly.
No, I was going to say that with these sorts of newer engines, relative to, like, I don't know, Union Pacific 119, these ones, with their injectors, they actually work while the engine is stationary.
Yeah.
Currently passing through Axley, and we've got the pannier tank number 5405 here with a couple of auto coaches.
Interesting, because I am coming through Axley, and I've got a M7 with a set of push-pull coaches in the siding at Axley.
And on my end, you can see a couple of Goose's classmates, but these two have the same numbers as a couple of KiwiRail DX locomotives. Number 5402 and 5419.
What's your boiler
Now back
pressure
to the
looking like at the moment?
Oh dear, it's well, I'm still doing about 50 miles an hour and it's down to about 178, but I'm trying to keep the fire level up between around, I think, 85 or 87%. Although in saying that, I'm not sure what the ideal fire mass is for the 9F.
I try and keep mine between 1600 and 1700.
Right, well I guess by comparison I've sort of smothered my fire.
Well, I'm up to 71 miles an hour at the moment.
I'm only doing 48.
Ah, there you go then. See? I might have been behind earlier, but I know my route.
It's funny because I think I was doing better than this on the test run.
I find that often happens. If you're trying to do, when you're trying to do something properly and you do a test run, you normally perform better during the test run. Like I'm not performing as well as I want during my tests.
Accidentally applied the brakes a tiny bit. So I remember that, in any case, I think after Wall, because I'm currently going up a 1 in 69, about
Cheeky.
0.6 of a mile from Lake.
Yep.
And then obviously there's Walls-Church Viaduct and Walls-Church Station, but
You've got a 1 in
yeah,
60 climb out of Woolchurch, remember?
yeah. I don't think I'd have enough time to stop and pick up the Z class to act as the banker.
Speaking of Lake, I'm now going through Lake.
Oh dear. Well, I'm screwed.
Hooray!
Again.
Right, onto the double track over the viaduct with the magnificent Woolchurch Cathedral off to the right.
What, you mean you've got 8025 somewhere on that section?
Oh yeah, and I've got the nameplate somewhere as well. I scrapped the rest of it for fun. For the chuckles.
Yeah, because Barry and Paul definitely want a huge Great Western Pacific.
I think they probably wouldn't mind.
Now doing about 51.5 miles an hour onto Walls-Church Viaduct.
Just swapping over to the other side of the cab as I come through Woolchurch, just to flick the camera back round. I said about the Z-Class earlier, well, my Z-Class was sat there. Bit of a weird cameo because 950 has never been to the DR before preservation, so... Which I've also found very funny, because DC, funnily enough, what loco have you got in the banker selling at Woolchurch, and what number is it, funnily enough?
It is 950 in Southern Railway Line Black.
That is really wild, because that is also Zach. So we've both got Zach sat at Woolchurch for some reason. That's hilarious.
Personally, I can't help thinking that the engine should have been named something like Zoran.
No, I wanted to call it Zebedee, but I know for a fact that somebody else within the series of 77 universes trademark has already got a Z-Class named Zebedee. And I kind of prefer the name Zach anyway, so... I'll roll with it. Thankfully...
There was a Steve Winwood song named Roll With It.
Oh god, I shouldn't have said so. I need to be very careful on my quotes, because sometimes I will just quote a random song that I have no idea about, and DC will come like, oh, I know exactly what song it is, and I'm like, oh, right. I did not know. Right, I am on the approach to Upway Station, I think.
I'm still about a mile and a quarter from it, doing about 46 miles an hour, but still slowing down. I think, because I'll probably need to stop for a little while to have an Upway station for a blow up. Suddenly, the whole station explodes into smithereens.
Kaboom!
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong... Yeah, I'm afraid I had to make that joke, even as overused as it is.
Right, slow down.
Something else I've just remembered about the DR is, not counting the Merecombe goods branch, there's no tunnels.
Nope. Oh, there goes Brian. Bye, Brian. Bye, Brian.
What, is he off on another adventure with Stewie?
No.
Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong Brian.
That's the wrong Brian. No, I timed that incredibly well because I've arrived at Upway and Brian leaves Upway. That was very good timing. So now I can sit here and attempt to build up some boiler pressure and get some water in my boiler.
Well, you've probably got a bit of time to do it because I'm still half a mile away.
Right. Well, open the doors. Look back.
Yeah,
Listen out for the guard. That should be enough
Wait,
water.
that's the point. What coaches have you got?
AP Mark 1s. There's the guard whistle already.
I'm using the... Say again?
I've just heard the guard whistle already, so I'm just going to let my boiler pressure build back up and then I'm going to leave.
Well, I'm using the Matrix Trains Pullmans for shits and giggles.
Fair enough. They're good coaching, to be fair.
This is I think the specific variants I've got are like the BR era. Because last night I was looking on the SSS website and saw that there's like 4 other MT Pullman packs.
There's loads of them.
Represent different eras. Speaking of Pullman stock, you can also get. I think there's also there's a really old freeware model of the iconic Brighton Bell EMUs.
Yeah, the 5 Bell.
Or Class 403, as they were known under the TOPS system.
Or, as some of us jokingly call it, the Bell Ends. JK.
And there's me bringing up. And there's me bringing up the 4DD, the double Ds.
Cheeky.
Yeah, the 4DD units were very weird.
The problem is when you say double Ds, I know exactly what you mean, but I'm also thinking of Ed, Edd and Eddy, the classic British TV show thing from Cartoon Network.
British?
Yeah, Ed, Edd and Eddy were British. Oh, was it British? Oh no, sorry, it was American. I'm stupid. It's American, whatever. And because I remember it being on Cartoon Network and whatever, doesn't matter. Whatever. From Ed, Edd and Eddy, I just think a double D from Ed, Edd and Eddy.
I mainly watched like Nickelodeon stuff when I was a kid, and I think the only Cartoon Network show I remember watching on a semi-frequent basis was one called Chowder.
I don't remember Chowder. And then again, I'm older, so I just remember things like Cartoon Network being around with Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls. I'm guessing you ended up sparing yourself from the the brain rot that is Peppa Pig. Yeah, I never watched that, thank God.
Consider yourself lucky. There are a lot of things I could say about that show, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not Cadicarus in 2017.
Well. Right, I'm on the bank now. 25 miles an hour we're going.
Still, you already started. I'm still in the bloody station.
Yeah, I'm on the climb now, man. Bye, DC! Good job, the blow was pretty efficient, though.
Jesus, if that cough doesn't blow out the mic, I don't know what will. Anyway, fuck it. I'm going to start moving again. Alright, with 212 psi.
Stick your blow on, you should be alright.
So the blower's been on the whole time.
Oh, crikey. Okay.
Well, I did say that earlier that I've got the 9F on simple mode because I'm a plank and I'm not so good with advanced engines.
There goes a U-boat. Off to hunt down the merchant navies at the other end of the line. Oh,
don't tell me they're going to take out 35021.
Yes, and they're also going to take out my beloved 35015.
Come to think of it, I suppose if 35029 was there, that would be fine because at least then she'd finally be put out of her misery.
Yeah, because she'd cut in half, poor thing.
Of all the locomotives to section for the NRM,
I've always argued they should have, as much as I love them, one of the black 5s that are in preservation should have been one of the one section because we had 18 of them in preservation. And they also are a much simpler machine to explain how the internals of a steam engine works. So yeah. Having a merchant navy in there just feels like overkill.
For shits and giggles, they should have done a new build of the LNER W1 and sectioned that.
Oh God, no! Can you imagine trying to explain how a water tube boiler works to people? Oh my God!
I don't understand how.
I don't really get it either. I don't understand it either.
Also, I'm now on Upway Bank and sort of maintaining 24.5 miles an hour.
I'm just going under the bridge at the top of the incline at 29.8.
He's going under the bridge like the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
See, I told you he does that.
Wait, what? Barry is... what? Is he pulling Anthony Kiedis?
No, I meant
Or
you
whatever-
doing. I
whatever
meant
the
you.
thing is
I
named.
meant you knowing all these random quotes and things.
Oh, I see. That's right.
Because you did it. You did it earlier, and you've just done it again. Oh, Q1.
One of the first things about what I remember Barry saying was something that it was in the first episode he appeared in. Where it was something about saying to Dave something like, "I now pronounce you man and wife." I can't remember the full line.
I can't either.
I think my engine seems to be maintaining a relatively, well, not so much maintaining speed, but kind of slowing down a bit now.
Oh dear.
I'm just hoping that this thing doesn't stall completely. When I was doing the test run, I was romping away up the bank at about 31.
Yeah, I was earlier. I didn't manage to hit 31 this time, but I'm doing on my test run. I'm doing about 30, 31 as well.
Speaking of like using big, powerful engines on these kinds of runs over steep grades, I remember the other week, I think I was doing a test run with the Great Western Cathedral on the Port Road, and that thing was basically romping away up the inclines between Dassel, Cuglas and Stewton Newarts without breaking a sweat.
I can believe it. That was part of the design brief on the cathedral, that they were designed to climb hills.
I'm having to inject water now, but
As I'm on the relatively not flat but flat-ish section, just going over the old goods branch on the girder bridge now.
right.
Not girder bridge, steel bridge, whatever you call it. I can afford to eject.
I was just thinking back to when I think you were initially thinking of using the WD-210, and I think that I remember seeing somewhere that those engines weren't actually as powerful as the 9Fs.
No, they
were
weren't.
essentially more or less the same as the 280s, just
Yeah.
with a slightly lighter axle loading.
Yeah, the thing with the WD-210, basically it was just a stretched WD-280. They weren't any more powerful or whatnot. They were just basically extended so they had a lighter axle load. So they're still like 7F, 8F sort of power range. So they're not as powerful as a 9F. But they're still pretty powerful, don't get me wrong. They're still good for the job. But they were basically built to be have a lighter axle loading, essentially.
In other news, I've found a bit of floating track near the top of Upway Bank.
Huzzah! Well, you better report it to the route book. Oh wait, shit, that's me. Well, I'm going past Merecombe South signal box. Or East signal box,
Whereas
if you want to be pedantic.
I'm still half a mile from Manston 4 station.
Don't you mean Manston Foreskin?
That's like, I'm younger than you, and even I think that's a bit icky.
Well, that's what literally everybody who talks about Manston 4 always says Manston 4 skin, because it's just objectively funny.
That's like the way I remember you and some of the lads saying Penistone, like that
Yeah.
station on the Woodhead line.
Yeah, Peniston. Well, it's only like Peniston valve gear. The whole joke, yeah.
That's the point. While we've still got the chance, do you want to explain to people on my end about DR1202 for anyone who hasn't heard of him?
For anybody who doesn't know anything about DR1202, my best advice is go and watch my videos on DR1202.
Right.
I'll very quickly because I'm coming into Merecombe Station now. DR1202, aka probably better known by most people as either Big Bob for the old one or Rick for the new build, is a fictional a fictional 4.
Yes, he's a Berkshire.
No, he's not. He's not. Don't listen to him. He's a 482 mountain type. He's a fictional mountain type. If I get a picture over to DC, he'll probably flash a picture up on the screen for anybody who's watching on his end.
I could do that.
Yeah.
And then I could probably also cut away to a shot of, oh, hello, I'm coming through the platform at Manston 4 and I see Mr. Dark and Mr. Dark. They're both walking up to a woman.
I don't want to know what's going on there, and I'm not going to ask. Meanwhile, I'm at Merecombe Station, by the way, so I'm going to call that a win.
I've just gone through Manston 4 station.
So you're one station behind.
Speaking of the name Manston 4, does it have anything to do with a certain preserved bullied Pacific?
Yes.
I thought as much.
It's also to do with the fact there is a place called Manston in Kent, so...
Right.
Well, not Kent, sorry,
Actually,
just
that's
in that
what I was
region
going
of
to
the
say.
world. There is a place called Manton, so I just nicked it.
Alright. Well,
Well-
going past the junction for the goods branch.
I'm at the end of my run, so I'm not quite sure how to proceed now.
You could proceed right. You could pull a Maxon and proceed right off the end of the track, down the valley and into the town.
I mean, I could, but I know what'll happen. I'll just derail.
That's
I-
the point.
Yeah, but there's no
Barry's
point
been so
because
insufferable with his. Because Barry's been so insufferable with his ranting about chicken pies that he deserves to suffer the Maxon fate.
hang on a minute. He hasn't even mentioned chicken pies this whole run. The only thing he said to me was, "Did I want to eat a cup of tea?" He didn't even mention. Oh no! Now he's going to mention chicken pies, isn't he?
What does he mean? He wants you to eat the fucking crockery?
Yeah, he wants me to eat the entire cup.
I can
He's-
only imagine how badly that would hurt.
He is a
That would be
very
like
strange
how I-
engine. He is a very, very
It would be
strange
like
engine.
the pain from the pain from eating a tea cup would probably be like what I felt after I had my fucking wisdom teeth out. That was not fun.
Probably.
No, Christ, I'm down to 135 psi. I've only just noticed.
Christ.
Yeah. I think if I ever use the 9F in future, I'll have to really practice.
Yeah, probably. You have to do a couple more test runs next time, mate.
Actually, speaking of things to do with Victory Works, I do have the Great Western 1500 pannier tank in my queue at videos at some to get around to at some point, but no idea when.
Actually, I must admit, I do quite like the 1500. Makes a good noise.
What, does it go squeak when you look at it funny?
No.
Alright, now on the, I think, the little 1 in 132, about, I think 0.85 of a mile from Merecombe station. I just realised that I think when I go to edit this video, I'll probably put up another disclaimer at the beginning, like what I did last time, where it was warning of coarse language and unusual humour.
Unusual being the word.
Yes, although of course in wait, no, oh, damn it! I thought I always thought that the bird is the word.
No, dear, the word is actually supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious.
That.
You're supposed to quote the rest of the song.
I don't know the rest of the song! I've never actually watched Mary Poppins!
Well, I still remember watching it when I was a kid, and looking back on it now, those sets, my god, they're horrible.
It's all horrible.
Like, they're
Everything
so
is
cramped
horrible.
and unconvincing.
Everything is
That
horrible.
should be a lesson to the Americans. Don't make films set in England.
Again, I will just point out to everybody in the audience.
I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people by what I just said.
Well, I'm just going to turn around and just remind the audience that everything is horrible. Literally everything is horrible. Your face is horrible.
even-
Your life is horrible. Your next door neighbour's cat is horrible. The man standing at the end of your street saying drugs is horrible. The government is, well, let's not go there because we don't do politics on the channel.
No, as much as even though I've got my opinions on politics, especially in my country.
I'm not going to talk about my opinion on politics anywhere because I don't know enough about politics. All I know is that everybody is bad and all they want to do is screw everybody at the bottom over. That's literally my only opinion on government.
We're talking about this while I'm looking at two very familiar engines by the coal tower at Merecombe.
Don't tell me Ed and Sid teleported up there.
No, it's
Oh,
Dave,
thank God.
albeit with a shed plate saying 68A and not 77C, and then we've got Di.
Oh God, I don't even want to think about what they're talking about. I realised I'm still recording and I'm just sat here at Merecombe just waiting for you to get here.
Right. Well, this is, I should add, that the version of the Black 5 I put down there is the one that comes with the Port Road.
Which I think is actually, apart from the model being wrong still, I think it's a pretty decent reskin, to be honest. And it's got an
Isn't it
alright
just
sound
like
set.
Isn't it just a modified version of the original Kuju model?
It is just it literally is just the Kuju model, but with better textures,
Right.
better sounds. It's just that the model hasn't really changed. It's just got better textures, essentially.
In any case, I use the Port Road version because A, I think the default Coogee one sucks, and B, I still haven't got the Bossman Games / Precision Locomotive Developments Black 5.
Now, I'm going to have to ask you a very important question here, mate. Why?
As soon as you said that, I thought of referencing the New Zealand Railways Y class. Because that's something I do with my dad sometimes. When I hear him finish a scene, when I hear him go Y, I cut in with 542 because that's the number of the preserved Y class.
He's just deflecting. He doesn't want to answer the question. That's all. He doesn't want to tell me why he won't buy the superior Black 5, which is based.
As for, I mean, I don't think the Black 5s are rubbish or anything, but I was going to say that I don't really know why I still haven't got the Plod Black 5 after all this time.
I think you'll deflect. I think it is. I think it's racism toward Black 5s. Can't believe it.
Let's not go there, hey.
he just doesn't like Black 5s. Can't believe it.
Look, I ordered a Hornby Black 5 from Clark Railworks the other day. If you wanted more evidence, if you wanted any more evidence to prove that I don't hate Black 5s, I don't know what else to give you.
Show me that you bought the Plod Black 5 and then we'll talk. Ha!
Does that mean we'll just have to abruptly cut the recording there?
Who knows, I might.
Well, regardless, I've made it to Merecombe Station, and 92079 I think has done, well, in my opinion, done okay, but I suppose it's partly my fault for being a shit fireman.
Well, next time, you remember, I mean, I normally keep it between 16 and 1700. That's how I normally get mine to steam. Also, just try not to use injectors unless you're either coasting or stopped a lot of the time. Because
in other news, I've got Brian here sitting at another platform, and he has got a blue smokebox number plate.
Yeah, why do you keep giving Brian a blue smokebox number plate? I did notice the other day he got a blue smokebox number plate in one of your other videos. I was just basically just doing that for shits and giggles. And of course, I like the customization options on a lot of these CW engines. I just remembered I've been sat at the other end of the station looking at the 9F, but I've also got a U-boat sat in the station with some Maroon Mark 1s, and that's actually a good screenshot.
On my end, I'm looking at I've just gone past the turntable, as the buffer stops working, but looking out over the spot where Max and Messrs end.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you what, in regards to Max, and I think the bouncer's gone from mid-bungee.
What?
The bouncer's gone from mid-bungee. Right. Yeah.
I've never done bungee jumping, and I don't fancy ever doing so.
No, I've seen too many horror stories of people doing bungee jumps and then like either the rope going slack or people breaking their necks on the way back up. Ooh, no, thank you. Not interested.
Worse, and potentially the rope completely snapping and then falling to their death. That's not how I don't fancy going out that way.
No, I fancy going out the way that baby seals go out, being clubbed on the back of the head. Anyway, on that note, I think I'm going to stop recording before I say something else that will get me in trouble. So, for anybody who's watching this, thank you for watching. Don't go out and club baby seals. That is not a good bit of advice. And
don't go out and club anything.
Yeah, just don't go clubbing or anything. Okay, like don't even go to the.
No, you don't want anyone pulling a Bill Cosby.
No. Yeah, anyway, right, I'm going to stop there. So thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next time. Farewell. Goodbye.
Disco Duck is meant to be taken seriously. And that's about the lot. Initially, I was absolutely sure that I set my microphone volume and in-game master volume to the right levels, as opposed to the right wake me up. But when I went to check my recording after the race, I had the same issue as I did with the Carlisle to Preston one, where my microphone audio was way too quiet again. What you heard on my finished video was the audio from Dark DJ's recording, just layered onto my footage. And although I lost another race, it was still jolly good fun.